Attention!
Welcome to the Film Mages Podcast, where the popcorn is our ammunition, the couch is our foxhole, and the cinema is our place of worship.
Now let me see your war face. Ah!
Hey, Mick, stop betraying your goddamn country, you son of a bitch. You fucking Benedict. You Benedict Arnold. God damn you. Mick is sitting here with a bowl of... What are you eating, Mick?
I have a variety. So I didn't have enough time to make breakfast. We're recording in the morning. And I have a little bowl here of Jammy Dodgers and Hobnobs, which are two different...
fake foods.
It's not fake. They're biscuits.
You literally
They're
look
cookies.
like a white man in... Every time you get your haircut, you look like a white man in like the army or something. You get the military cut for some reason.
What it is I get the space race cut. I look like I belong at Cape Canaveral.
Well, also, there's a whole, there's really a disturbing Britishization of my boy over here, because I'm sitting here in, my revolutionary blues, and Mick's sitting over there looking like a goddamn redcoat. It's eating his fucking...
I didn't know he could get more white. This is atrocious.
I spent $130 on this. And
it looks nice.
It's from San Francisco.
You look nice in it.
Thank you. But I will say, regarding the haircut, I finally got a haircut, everybody.
$130?
For the shirt, yeah.
I've never spent $130 on an article of clothing in my life.
Really?
Yeah, no.
It's really nice.
It looks nice.
Yeah, it feels good.
But
Mick, not even I have spent over $110 on something, and the only time I spent $100 on something was a dress, because that is a full outfit.
This is so a disagreement where I can hear Sloan yelling at the episode, agreeing with Mick.
Yeah, sometimes you have to drop a pretty penny for a nice little article of shirt. Little article of clothing.
No, give me my $5 bargain shirt at the thrift store. Thank you.
Hey, says the woman who took me to Zara. Come on now. You know you like to shop, guys. What's wrong with that?
I did. Yeah,
hello, everyone.
But I never taught you to spend $130 on one piece of clothing.
How much did I spend on that sweater? Do you remember how much I spent on that sweater? It was at least $100.
The sweater could not have been at least $100.
It was.
No.
Remember, because we debated if I should get it.
80.
No, it was like
because
100.
I've gone to Zara more recently, and I bought a jacket, and the jacket itself was like $90-ish.
Well, hey, some of us are making money over here, so you can spend
Fuck off! I just had the
Mick,
most.
tell us more while everybody's going through unemployment and the strike. How you are prospering? That sounds very American of you. Very American of you,
Alexis. I just worked on a music video, and it was the most trying shoot of my fucking life. I'm not going to say any more, but it was.
Yeah, we're both working shit shows, it feels like.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I was going to say, regarding my haircut, I had this barber I like to go to in Hollywood. And I can't go to him anymore because he turned out to be an anti-Semite.
Oh, my God.
And I can't be associated with that. I cannot support that.
Well, yeah, and you can't be getting like a kind of alt-right looking haircut.
There's too many things on your track record,
So, yeah,
Mick.
but here's the thing.
Anymore.
Here's the thing, though. I found a black barbershop in Sherman Oaks, and it's fantastic. But I came out looking even more like a Nazi at the black barbershop. So... I don't know what to do.
You need to be like me and look, vaguely Jewish.
Vaguely Jewish.
Yeah. That's what you need to do, and then people won't think you're a Nazi.
How do you do vaguely Jew?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just happened my whole life. Every time I run into a Jewish person, I get the first question are you?
I thought you were Jewish when I first met you.
Yeah, of course you did. Everyone does.
I think what it was that you kept going on about like all of your Jewish friends. Well, you would say something, you'd be like, oh, don't worry, I have a Jewish friend.
That is so not fucking true.
And I was like, that has to be Jewish if he's going to be saying stuff like that.
It's so fucking cap. God. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Film Majors. I am Zach.
I'm Mick.
I'm Alexis and so uncomfortable.
How is that for a fucking opening salvo for all of you?
That was straight up just 4 minutes of us arguing.
4 minutes of playtime.
Going back to our roots, guys.
You know what? We're right at the top of our second year of this show. I think it's time to go back to the basics and just kind of see what's going on.
That was very good.
Zach, that was so smooth. That was a good one. Good
you.
boy, my baby boy.
Apparently, the less I sleep, the better I do, baby. So yeah, what's going on, guys?
But yeah.
What have you been up to? Have you been watching films? Have you been seeing movies?
I have.
I did.
Thank you, because I haven't really. I saw most of Q the Winged Serpent, but then I got busy.
What is that?
It's a 80s horror movie about Quetzalcoatl, the ancient Aztec god that's like a winged serpent ending up in New York. It's a little slow, but it's I like where it's going. I'm going to finish it. It's very silly.
It's a movie, right? Not a TV show?
Yes, it's something Cohen is the director, and Larry Cohen, and he directed The Stuff.
Okay.
Originally, I thought it was a Frank Henenlotter movie, which is why I put it on, but I think I was thinking of something else. But still, enjoyable time. I'm going to finish it. What have you guys been watching?
Alexis, take it away.
So I planned to see Talk to Me last night.
Okay.
But when I went into the theater, she said Auditorium 1, and I should have checked my ticket because I was with a friend, and I did not check my ticket, and it was 9:45 at night. There's only like 13 theaters in this fucking theater. You'd think that if we went into the wrong theater, there'd be a good chance that there's no movie playing because there should only be like 2 or 3 movies playing at 9:45 because
on a Saturday night,
not a well populated. Yeah, yes, on a Saturday night.
I mean, like that, or you're walking into the tail end of another movie or something.
Yeah, right. But no, we happened to go sit down in the only other movie that was also playing at 9:45. So it started at the same time Talk to Me would have started, but like. It was like a good few maybe a minute in, and then all of a sudden the title card, I was like, this doesn't really look like, I was like, it didn't say A24. Title card comes up, it's A Haunting in Venice, and we just looked at each other and we were like, oops. So we were supposed to go to Auditorium 2, not Auditorium 1. That's on me. That's also on the fucking ticket girl because she definitely told both of us Auditorium 1.
Oh, okay, so you were misled.
We were misled. Yeah, we were misled. But, we like to roll with the punches. So we had a giggle and then we were like, should we just stay? And so we ended up seeing A Haunting in Venice instead of Talk to Me.
Yeah,
and
how was that?
Of all the movies I've seen this year, that's one of them.
Yes, we love those. We love one of them.
Yeah, I
think I'm going to see that soon.
You what?
I think I'm going to see that movie soon because someone should be watching those Poirot movies Kenneth Branagh is making, right?
I actually want to watch it, but I want to watch the first 2 first.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the Haunting movies, so, I just went and raw dogged it, as I like to. And it was fine. I mean, it was I give it a 2.5 out of 5, I guess.
Well, I think this is the first haunting of the trilogy, right?
Yeah, because it's Murder on the Orient Express, then Death on the Nile, then A Haunting in Venice.
Right.
Death on... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. It was fine. I don't know if the spookiest thing about a movie should be a fucking bunny,
a mustache,
like a toy bunny with really long legs. I saw them pick up this toy bunny that was how people used to knit yarn bunnies, for children back in the day.
Sure.
Or not?
Yeah.
No, sure. Whatever. Just roll with it, guys. They did that.
I'm going with you.
They got to make toys.
I'm a modern man, okay? I'm from the 1960s.
Okay.
Jesus.
And They pick up this bunny. This bunny has like the longest fucking legs I've ever seen. Like the fucking bunny's legs were like a foot long. They were just like noodles. And I got the heebie-jeebies so fucking bad. I just started giggling and my friend was like, what's the matter? And I was like, the bunny, why is the bunny so creepy? And the bunny came up like multiple times.
Did it for her.
Yeah. The knitted bunny. That was what did it for me. But Kenneth Branagh, that's his name, right? He directed it and then also was starring in it, I believe, right?
Yeah, he directs all of them.
Yeah.
He's a madman.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Listen, a couple of years ago, he got nominated for Best Picture for something else just so he could keep fucking making his mustache movies.
Yeah, his weird voice mustache movies.
I truly think
I know, Inspector Pablo.
Like his...
I want to play a Frenchman.
I truly think that, like, Belfast, the movie that he made, like... that's kind of about him growing up.
A good movie, Belfast.
I've never seen it, but I feel like that is his one for them, so he can keep making the Poirot movies, which are his one for him.
He's all, I'll give you a Magnus Opus as long as I can keep my bunny legs.
I'm not going to call Belfast a magnum opus out the gate because I've heard that it is sympathetic towards the goddamn British over the Irish, which can't be doing that.
We all know how Zach feels about that.
Can't be doing that.
I have a question, Alexis.
I'm of a Cillian Murphy mind on this.
How is Tina Fey in it?
She's Tina Fey.
That's exactly what I thought.
Kind of I just rarely do I see her in something where she's not just playing like herself or some kind of like, snazzy. She's got all the little quippies.
A Tina Fey type.
Definitely had some jump scares. Yeah, there was like a bunch of jump scares in this.
It's Liz Lemon
just
and
totally
Agatha Christie
weren't
story.
scary. Yeah, there was a bunch of jump scares that were just like straight up like not scary. Like, I don't know if the timing was slightly off. And then, of course, like, Tina Fey was giving, like, all these little jokies, and I'm like, well, those aren't really quite landing,
Little jokies.
I love them little jokers.
She gives a little jokey. Yeah.
Michelle Yeoh is Michelle Yeoh. I mean, she's good in whatever she does. Like, she brought so much emotion to this, like... to this part that she had for only like the first act. I do love a good ghost story, but once you've seen The Orphanage, the Spanish movie, The Orphanage, had you watch that with me, Mick?
That's such a good movie.
Once you've seen that, the Spanish just do ghost stories like so much better than also, like most other people.
They say ghosts better than the rest of us because they call it phantasmas, which is just like, that's
a little flirty. That's a little sexy.
I know. It's like, are you flirting with me?
I also prefer it because it's like the most horrifying thing about ghosts is the fact that their deaths are so tragic usually, and that's what the Spanish always get right about it, Yeah. And I mean, like, sure, you play up the tragedy in A Haunting in Venice, but I don't think it comes through in the same way. Whatever.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
Mick just went.
Do that on purpose.
I can tell that you were taken aback.
I will say
that was an involuntary sound that I am keeping in the podcast.
Someone who's good at doing ghosts along with the Spanish is I'm
your throat. There's a ghost trapped in there.
Mike Flanagan is. I think he also very much does a good job of taking the whole ghost thing of like they are tragedies, they are regrets, they're guilt.
I tend to agree because for me, ghosts and possessions tend to be like my least favorite type of horror.
And
generally,
usually just Old Man Jenkins under a sheet.
Yeah, it was Old Man McGillicuddy this whole time.
Let's see who's really under there.
And I'd have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for you kids and that silly little dog.
Zoink, Scoob! It was like Old Man McGillicuddy. Mick, what film have you watched this week?
Well, by golly, I'm glad you asked me. Speaking of a haunting in Venice, well, I decided to have a little bit of a haunting myself. Guys, I went back into the 1950s, I think, and I watched Haunted Palace, starring Vincent Price.
Haunted Mansion, starring Eddie Murphy?
Vincent Price.
He's
starting his fall season right.
Exactly.
Fuck yeah.
Exactly. And I watched it, and it is, honestly, it's a movie. It is a movie. Has a
We've
start.
had so many winners this week.
Has an end.
I love
And
it.
it has this middle bit as well. And by golly, they're all there in that order.
Fascinating.
Vincent Price is the best part of the film. With
That
the way,
figures.
with the way he talks, just
Every time.
Don't put it, darling.
He's a spooky man.
So basically, it's about a guy who inherits this haunted palace. Its title's based off of
A haunted mansion?
haunted
One
palace.
might
It's a
say.
palace. It's not a mansion.
Okay,
There's
I'm
even a
sorry.
scene where they talk about that.
Oh.
He's like, "Oh, it's just such a lovely mansion," and he goes, "It's a palace." So they set the record straight. He inherits this house, and he is basically the living likeness of his ancestor who owned it generations ago, who's like this evil warlock type guy, and made all of the village people, and I think it's like Romania or something, all have these birth defects from witchcraft throughout all the generations. And so when Vincent Price returns to inherit this land from his family, everyone's freaking out because he looks exactly like the guy that done did him bad.
You're really
a few
fighting
hundred years ago.
fighting a burp on that one. I
really
can tell. Take a pie.
So yeah, it's a film, and it was a good time. It's good spooky vibes, really good spooky vibes. I enjoyed that. Nothing really happened. I kept waiting for something to happen, and I was like, and I paused it because I needed to go to the bathroom, and like 20 minutes was left. I was like, oh, all right. So I guess this is what's been happening. So yeah, Haunted Palace, check it out. And then I saw Billy Wilder's The Apartment
There we go.
for the
Hell
first
yeah.
Oh
time.
my God.
That's a
I
great
fucking
movie.
love that movie so much.
Yeah, there's a grip on the movie I'm working with who is also a big proponent of physical media, and we were exchanging letterboxed and talking about Academy Award-winning movies, and he mentioned that he has never seen The Thing, believe it or not, because he's not a huge horror movie guy.
Man.
And I had never seen The Apartment, and so we traded Blu-rays, and so I watched his The Apartment yesterday. And honestly, that would have been a good contender for last week's topic of movies I did not expect to break my heart.
Yeah, The Apartment is
Because
a really moving
It
movie.
was sold to me as a comedy, which it is, absolutely comedy.
It is, yeah.
Genuinely funny bits in it. Like when he finally gets Shirley MacLaine over to his apartment and has it to himself, and then one of the other bosses comes in to use the apartment real quick.
If you don't know the premise of The Apartment, Jack Lemmon owns this apartment that guys higher up at his company show up to
all of his
cheat on their
bosses-
wives, essentially.
Yeah, all of his bosses, managers, and supervisors will just use his apartment as like their cheat place, where when they cheat on their wives, they'll bring their mistresses over there and shag.
Yeah.
And
Stop.
I knew you wouldn't really like that.
Fucking, I'm going to throw that Jamie
I want
Dodger
this
out.
Jamie Dodger over here. It fuels my vocabulary. So
Speaking the Queens.
let's see. What was I talking about? Oh, so yeah. So basically, there's this moment where Shirley MacLaine is there, and one of the bosses shows up and say, "Oh, hey, you bagged what's her face? Hey, why didn't you say something? All right, let me get out of here." And then he closes the door, and then that's all said and done. Then he opens it one more time, he's like, "Hang in there, buddy boy." And then it goes out. That shit was so funny. Yeah, Jack Lemmon, as Alexis once said, is incredibly attractive. Incredibly attractive. That's true. She did say that. I have a quote of it. She didn't mean to say it, but she did say it nonetheless. Very good. Fred McMurray, that's his name, right?
Sure.
I think so. I think the guy from Double Indemnity, right?
Yeah.
He's a good bastard in it. And what a great premise. I really love it.
Yeah.
It's just like all of your bosses
Shirley
just
MacLaine,
totally.
though.
Shirley MacLaine, yeah.
What a babe.
She is unbelievable.
Goated with the sauce.
When I honestly, she's like Brando, where you watch her and you're like, oh, this is a new style of acting. Like this is way more way more contemporary, modern type of acting. Because it's funny having Shirley MacLaine in terms. Fucking amazing performance off of Fred McMurray, who's great, but he's very old-timey. He's very old-timey man, Fred McMurray, all that kind of stuff. He's from Double Indemnity, and he talks about you and he slaps you in the face, that kind of guy. And to have that style of acting and this style of acting playing off of each other was fascinating to watch. And I didn't know it was a Christmas movie, but it is. So it's a good Christmas movie.
Totally forgot. There we go. Add it to the roster.
Add it to the rooster.
Yeah. Real quick, this is not about a film that we watched, but
well, they don't say anything.
Since the strike is going on, it's time to do some fucking call-outs. Drew Barrymore, go fuck yourself. How dare you start shooting your show again without your writers, you scab. Go to hell. That is not caring about your workers. That is fucking them over.
Just 30 minutes ago, I saw an article that said that they are now postponing the show amid the backlash. And I was like, yo, shocker.
Wow, interesting. And then the other person who...
Don't forget Bill Maher.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm not surprised that Drew Barrymore...
Who's Bill Maher?
Exactly. He is a late-night talk show guy.
Real Time with Bill Maher, HBO. He's really obnoxious.
Yeah, he's like
the worst kind of liberal.
He's like a quote-unquote liberal, but then he's like, I don't think Muslim people should exist.
Yeah, just typical liberal person.
Yeah, fucking horrible human being. There's a really memorable clip of Ben Affleck being on his show, coming after him for being a fucking Islamophobe. So shouts out to Ben Affleck, who's not a scab.
Yeah, he's a Red Sox fan.
All right.
Wow.
Fuck. Well, yeah, that's that's our little strike update. Don't be a piece of shit. Don't be scab, because we hate you. And Drew Barrymore, good call on responding to that backlash, because that was a really bad decision on your part, and you look like an asshole.
Speaking of strikes, was it 111, 111? The new union forming for PAs.
I should be getting my card for that.
I mean, it's for commercials only to start, but still, that's really dope.
A lot of PA work I've done has been on commercials, so yeah,
that's dope. I think that's a good step in the right direction. And then also,
as someone who is just really fucking mistreated as a PA, PAs get mistreated a lot.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. Yeah. It's sad. I worked with an AD once who looked at me when I sat down with my lunch, and he said, "What are you doing? PAs don't get lunch. Go to work."
You know what's crazy too is just like, I don't know. It feels like they treat you like you're a child, and we're all like, most of us are, some of us are in our early 20s, but there's quite a lot of PAs that are actually in their like mid to late 20s, like fully adults, Yeah. And then they just get treated like they're fucking stupid children. It blows my mind, the things that I've heard people say to somebody else.
I've worked with career PAs, believe it or not, PAs that are in their 40s.
Yeah, I've worked with
I have to, yeah.
Yeah, I've worked with a key set PA who's in his 40s. No, don't mistreat your PAs, don't mistreat your workers. And, if you're listening to this episode and unlike me, you've been working consistently, go ahead and click those strike fund links and throw a little cash their way.
Yeah. Also, the VFX house for Marvel.
Yeah, VFX is looking at unionizing.
Which is fantastic because that's one department that really needs it. Because with all this content creation, especially when so many of them are offshoot of superhero Marvel comic things, that requires a lot of VFX. Let's look at Star Wars. They need to crank this shit out so quickly, and they just aren't given the time to do it, so they're working ungodly hours. I've heard some of them work on flat rates, which is insane.
Oh my god.
It's crazy.
So I remember working on Nope, even back then. VFX people on that were talking to me basically about how there's already talk amongst them that they really need to unionize because it's just getting way out of hand. And so with the announcement that VFX artists from Marvel, who, as we know, produces so much movies and television and stuff, they need to have rights.
Yeah.
Protections as workers and to be given, decent time away from the job.
Yeah, and if you're
better benefits,
if you're just
health insurance.
Yeah, if you're just an audience member too, and for some reason you don't care about people's quality of life, you should at least care about the quality of the shit you're watching, because if VFX workers have more time to work on projects and they're paid fairly, you will get things that look better.
The good example of that is Thor: Love and Thunder, when Taika Waititi went on the DVD commentary trashing the effects of his own film.
Oh my god.
And it's like, well, they're not great, but that's not the VFX department's fault. That's if a VFX effect is bad, and this is arguably true of any film ever made, basically, it's not a lack of competence, it's a lack of resources and time.
Yeah.
Those practical special effects take a long time to do, and they take a lot of prep, and sometimes they get it, other times they don't. But with VFX, that's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to, read these little things that pop up on Instagram. And then I like to go to the comment section because I'm always just curious what the general public think about things. And it is crazy the amount of people that just straight up in the comments were just like, why the fuck do they get a union? The visual effects on most of the movies are shit anyways. And I was just like, it's blatantly obvious. Obviously, nobody knows how the system actually works.
Yeah.
But it's still the same thing where they're like, I don't get a union for my work. Why should these people get a union for their work if they're not doing the right work? And I'm that's not
what you should gather. What you should gather is, maybe I should create a union for my work.
That is inherently a Western capitalist mindset.
Yeah, it's so individualist.
It's very individualist, where it's like, well, no one's giving me a break.
Mm-hmm.
No one's giving me a break. No one's giving me a handout. Therefore, no one else should get one.
Yeah, it's like
it's
boomers
not love
who
thy
are
neighbor.
it's
love thy own bank account.
Yeah, it's
covet the money.
Yeah, it's the same thing of boomers who are like, oh, you shouldn't have free college because I didn't get free college, so
they did.
Yeah, it's bullshit. You fucking did. College cost fucking 6 nickels and a fucking soda pop.
Well, not only that, remember what fucking Roosevelt set in place after World War II, where it's so many of these people got free government subsidized education, and they're fucking.
Yeah, I will say the one thing I'm going to say in defense of the general public is I'm going to go out on a limb and say the people who take time to comment on things on the internet are kind of the dumbest of the population, the dumbest and angriest, because, if you have things going on in your life, you're not going to waste time commenting on, shit on Instagram typically.
Well, I mean...
Interacting online has always just been a really weird concept to me. Even as a teenager, I never got on forums or blog. I was never a person that was commenting about things. Interacting with people that I don't know seems so strange, and criticizing people I don't know seems even weirder, because it's your comments just go into this strange echo chamber, and I'm like, why would you? I wouldn't even fathom why you would want to. So it's actually very fascinating when I read the comments, because I'm like, it's crazy that there are people out here that think this.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I also from a morbid curiosity.
I do this sometimes as well.
I remove myself emotionally just to to get a laugh out of what some of these fucking yahoos are saying. And then I get angry and depressed pretty quickly.
Get mad. Yeah, you try to emotionally separate, and then you're mad
that's something else I noticed too. When this whole strike started, really reading what non-industry people are saying about it, and I don't mean journalists. I mean people commenting on not articles they read, I'm sure, but the headline that they're reading, and saying, wow,
the grab tag.
Oh, I guess these rich celebrities aren't getting enough money. I guess they're going on strike. And so there's literally from the gate, zero empathy.
Yeah.
Zero. because you have people like, pick any fucking actor who's on the line right now. Bryan Cranston, Matt Damon, Ewan McGregor. Like, these are all famous people. So why the fuck are they going on strike? Fuck you guys. I am not getting any help. Why should you? But what they don't understand is that 85% of SAG card holders make less than $25K a year.
Yeah, don't qualify for fucking insurance.
If you're listening to this, those are background actors.
Famous people who are on the picket line are doing this thing called showing fucking solidarity.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And that's what you should be doing, because guess what? You are a worker. You are not a billionaire.
Yeah.
You have, even if you are rich, even these rich celebrities have more in common fundamentally with working actors than they do with the people who run these corporations, because their labor produces the value for these companies.
And not to mention, there's also so many what we'll call them character actors, right? So you'll recognize them, but they're not
that guys.
Right, exactly. They're not.
They're not getting that much money.
They're not making that much money, especially on the returns and the dividends with all of these shows that are going straight to streaming. They're getting boned. Where I can bet you they're getting way less than you would think.
Yeah,
they're getting, but that's not even the whole thing of the problem. Just all of the background actors and all the writers and everything. So it was kind of depressing to me, and I'm not surprised. But I kind of knew as soon as the strike was going to happen, there's going to be these people. They're just like, oh, people in Tinseltown, were upset that their champagne bottles are running low, and now they're all going on strike. And it's stupid because the hotel workers right now are also going on strike. Dock workers are going on strike.
This is what I'm going to say.
Drivers are going on strike.
Is that I think that, despite all of that, I would like to hope that most people have a general understanding of the fact that these workers are being mistreated, because they're workers and they're being mistreated. And we're seeing a rise in labor action in this country. Yeah. And it's because the system is fucking rigged against us, and people are waking up to that and realizing that, hey, we actually have the power. It's like there was some comment from the Australian billionaire who made that comment all those years ago about how, millennials won't own a house because they're eating all this avocado toast. He made some comment recently that was like, we need to tank the economy so that workers feel the strain of being unemployed and feel that hit their bank accounts and realize that, they're actually lucky to have a job. It's not that we're lucky to have their labor. And it's like, wait, just fucking say the quiet part out loud, dude. Remember that these are the people who actors are striking against. Writers are striking
the
against.
means of production.
Hell yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, my parents are both boomers. They are, either 70 or very close to 70. And their whole lives, growing up, they were poor. So they've been on survival mode. So their way of looking at the system, even if they're liberal at all, is still, you have to do whatever you have to do in order to not end up on the streets. And if that means that you need to eat what your boss is saying, if that means that you need to take a job you don't like, that's what you do. And that's just the mindset, because they've been in survival mode, because the fucking economy has fucking been this way for a long time, but people have just been eating it, I don't know. It's bananas. It's bananas.
Honestly, it's kind of why I'm glad I watched The Apartment last night, because I love Billy Wilder's politics. That movie ends with Jack Lemmon basically kind of selling his soul a little bit to try to rub elbows with people that are upper ranks at this company. And the movie ends with him going, fuck this. I don't need you. I don't need this job. I don't need this headache. And it's a victory. It's played as a victory when he tells his capitalist employers to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, and keep in mind, even if you are in a position where you feel like you don't have power, you have more power than you think. Not to get too much into my week this week, but I had to advocate for myself on set this week, and my rate went up. Yeah. Because, you know what? I had power because my labor is generating value. Yeah. So...
yeah, the show, I'm not going to say too much because I signed an NDA, but the show I'm working on, something happened that was a safety concern. And what happened? Transpo shut us down.
Yeah.
They stopped moving the trucks, they stopped moving the vans, and we could not do anything until we reached an accord. And we did, thankfully, and the person responsible has changed their ways, thankfully. And but yeah, that's just a good example of how a group of people who are unionized have the authority to go, no, what you just pulled is bullshit, and it could put someone in danger, and now you're done.
Yeah. Alternatively, I've worked for a family friend before, and there's no unions there. There's kind of just you're a woman and that's a man, and he has technically the power and stuff. But he was talking some smack shit to my sister, and you know what? He had been for like weeks, if not months, if not for a whole year. And I just fucking had enough. I fucking went off on that dude. I went off on him. I fucking left work. And I was like, I'm not fucking coming. I'm not going to fucking finish the work that I have. I know you have to pay people at the end of the week. I'm not fucking coming back if that's the way you're going to fucking talk to us. And what did he do? He fucking apologized. So I came back to work.
Yeah.
And he never fucking talked to me or my sister like that again.
Nice.
So, you know what? And my sister, since then, she has, because he has been like mouthy, in the, maybe like a year or so ago, she did the same thing. She just straight up was like, okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go home. And if you want to address this problem with me to get your workers paid at the end of the week, then we can then. Mm-hmm. And he did. Like an hour later, he called her to apologize because he was like, hey, are you going to come back to work?
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Workers have power.
Good for you.
Well,
Even if you're just one fucking person.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we should probably wrap up what's going on.
I'm hot, man.
I'm worked up. This has been a great conversation.
I'm like, we gotta cool down, guys.
But we've got to soldier ahead. We've got to get to our film, and we've got to get to our big topic.
We're gonna put Moscow marching music underneath all of our rants, right?
I'll put the Soviet national anthem under this. Just quietly. All right.
Progressively getting louder as we're speaking about. Yeah.
All right, let's hop out of what's going on. And hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed Labor Corner, and we are back with our big topic. So our big topic today is actors who you feel should be a bigger star than they are.
Oh, I got one.
All right. Well,
when you said it out loud again, I was like, "Ow!" Obviously.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you go. You seem fired up.
I want to hear yours. I want to hear yours.
All right, mine is Dan Stevens.
Really, Dan Stevens?
Yeah, I think Dan Stevens is a really charismatic actor who has a lot of range.
But who's Dan Stevens again?
Exactly. Dan Stevens started his career on, you want to talk British shit?
Okay.
Downton Abbey.
Oh.
And since has just been good in so many things. He was on the TV show Legion. He was the lead of that. And I thought he was fucking incredible on that. He's the lead in The Guest, which, spoiler alert, might be making an appearance on a certain list that's fast approaching. He's the lead in Apostle, which is another...
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, okay. It's another horror movie that, also might be making an appearance on a certain list that I haven't seen in several years, but I remember being very fun. And I think that he just can kind of do anything. The thing that most people probably know him from, honestly, he played the Beast in the live action Beauty and the Beast, which I never saw.
Yeah, you've lost me from that one.
Probably his biggest role where you can't really recognize him. But I think that he is a guy who has massive leading man chops and really has not been given a big breakout role to really sink his teeth into. And I think he's great. I think that he should be a bigger star than he is. Mick, you seemed really excited. What's yours?
I did seem really excited. I don't know if I'm as excited anymore.
Come on, man.
You took my thunder.
You can't do that.
The amount of time it took you to do your thing. I'm like,
I told you could go first.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
What about Joey Pants?
Joey Pants.
Joey Pantoliano. You know what? I'm actually I'm going to disagree with that.
I think
Why,
Joey.
think he's a bigger
I do
star
think
than I think he is.
No, I think that
no.
Joey Pants is the right level of celebrity for him. He is.
I think he's a fantastic supporting character. You know, like in even his like biggest leading performance, which is in the incomparable Bound. He's still more or less a supporting character. He is a lead, but he's not the leads. So
yeah, but
yeah,
I felt like
I'm
that
happy
about
with
Jennifer
where he's
Coolidge for a really long time, where I'm like, oh, she's such a great supporting person, you know. But as soon as she started getting as soon as like when I saw White Lotus, I was like, yeah, no, this bitch made to be a more leading lady. She's just so fun.
I can see that because I don't know, like Sam Rockwell as well was a guy who I was like, I like him as a flavor and things, but you watch something like Moon, which is all
really
Sam Rockwell, and it's great.
I just think I would like to see him in a leading role. I just really would like to see him do his thing. Every time I see him do his thing, I'm just like, yeah.
like a gangster movie, but the star is Joey
Pants.
Yeah.
You know what I want like a old man rivalry comedy between Joey Pants and Joe Pesci. I want to see those two flavors of Italian together.
The Chicago and the New York.
Yes.
Oh boy. I'm going to go for my pick. Someone that I've spoken in the past about, who I think is just so good. It's Timothy Olyphant.
Ooh, yeah.
How is he not a leading man?
That's a good pick.
He had his own show, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he has Justified.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, I've started watching Justified. So good.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
Very, very good. I heard that the reason I got interested in it was because apparently when Tarantino cast Timothy Olyphant in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino said what a big fan of Justified he is, and actually helped Timothy Olyphant come up with the idea of adapting a certain novel of doing Justified City Primeval, which is like this. They return to do one more season, but it's based on this book that they both like. Timothy Olyphant, he's just so charismatic. He's very funny. He can also play a bastard, and he's just a damn good cowboy. Like, I'd love to see him star in a Western.
Yeah, he does have great cowboy energy.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
One more from me. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
I know the name. Can I see a face?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he's the lead in Candyman.
Candyman, right?
The remake. But he's also popped up. He played Morpheus in The Matrix Resurrections, kind of.
He was also in. Wait, no, he wasn't. Never mind.
What are you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say something else. That's not right.
He's in Us very briefly.
He is. Isn't he in Ambulance?
Yes, he is.
That's right.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's in
Ambulance. He is. He's great in Ambulance. Love him in Ambulance. Love Ambulance. Let's go, boys. Ambulance all day. Whambulance. He's also in Aquaman, which I quite enjoy. He's probably going to be in Aquaman too, which has,
Oh yeah, he plays Black Mantis, right?
Black Manta.
Oh, Black Manta.
Excuse you. He has one of the biggest, dumbest helmets I've ever seen.
Well, I said mantis because he looks like a praying mantis.
Mantis toboggan. But yeah, I think he's just a guy, again, who kind of has all of the traits of a leading man. He's very handsome. He's very charismatic. Yeah. He also has range. He played, spoiler alert, Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen TV series. And is great in that. I just think that, he's kind of a guy who, much like Dan Stevens, I feel like can do it all and can carry a movie. Yeah. And it honestly has been in some very big projects, but just hasn't quite broken out as like a household name. So Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
Luis Guzman. I don't know if you guys remember him. He's been in some Paul Thomas
Of
Anderson
course.
movies.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of those
He's like
guys.
one of the nightclub owners in Boogie Nights, and he's one of the
He's in
factory
Punch Drunk
workers in
Love.
Punch Drunk Love. You remember him?
Yes.
I really like him. I don't know. Every time I see him in a movie, there's no question in my mind that he is that character, and he makes it feel really real. And I would just like to see him in like a much bigger, like an everyday man comedic role where like he's at the forefront. I just would like to see him like be able to do that. I don't know. Every time you ever see him, he's always a really a small role, but it's always sold to me, you know, like fully believe he's a
He
character.
brings a
and
good
everything. I
flavor
don't
to
know.
things.
Right.
I would like to see,
Yeah.
I would like to see
Good
a
pick.
non-gorgeous, like Latino man in a more starring role, I guess, you know?
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I like that. Good pick. Well, we should probably get into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Why are we talking about this?
Well, because we watched a film that I think has a couple of people who could be bigger stars than they are. Particularly, these are guys who are stars. I think these guys should be international stars. And that is Iko Uwais and Joe Taslim, both of whom are in The Night Comes For Us, which is a 2018 Indonesian action thriller directed by Timo Tjahjanto. And Iko Uwais has popped up in a couple of American films, but in pretty small roles. I think he's very briefly maybe in The Force Awakens. But yeah, we're talking about them in The Night Comes For Us, and the plot description of this is Ito, a gangland enforcer, is stuck in the middle of a treacherous and violent insurrection within his triad crime family. Which fucking tells you all.
That's it?
That tells you fucking nothing.
I thought you were
about
taking a
them.
dramatic pause.
No, that is it.
That's all they
Guys,
have.
did they even watch the movie?
These past two descriptions have been seriously rough. But yeah, so
Nice.
Yeah, Iko Uwais. I'm a little tired. He's primarily known for The Raid, which is another Indonesian action film.
Pretty famous. You've probably seen it.
Yeah, I believe it's on Netflix. But essentially, a better description of this movie is Joe Taslim's Ito, who is a triad enforcer, makes the decision to save a little girl from a massacre carried out by the triad. And kills all of the goons who are working with him, and then has to kind of face off against the triad to protect this little girl's life, including facing off against his former friend, Arian, who's played by Iko Uwais.
Mm-hmm. Like the leading guy from
The Raid.
They were both leading guys from The Raid, weren't they? I guess Iko Uwais, he was more of the leading guy.
Iko Uwais is the lead in The Raid. Joe Taslim...
I remember him now, though, from The Raid.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah, Joe Taslim plays a supporting character, I believe, both in The Raid, and he's also in a show which I need to keep watching called Warrior. He's not the lead, but he's kind of the main rival to the lead.
Oh, right.
And I think that both of these guys are just like super, super talented, super watchable, obviously super talented with martial arts.
Yep.
But yeah, can carry a movie and, you know, should be given more opportunities.
Yeah.
So I think this was basically a first time watch for all of us.
Yeah.
Who wants to jump in? What did we think of it?
I didn't love it. I did not love this film because I just thought it was a bit boring.
Thought it was a bit boring then.
I thought it was a bit dull. But what's crazy about that is this is not a boring movie. Like, it is jam-packed with action and violent action at that. But the problem for me was I'm not a huge this might come as a shock to some people, but I'm not a huge like gangster film guy. Like I like I like the Italian American ones. Those are fun.
Gabagool.
Yeah, when you got the gabagool up in there, it makes it a bit funnier. No, I'm going to actually rephrase that. I don't like that. That sounded a bit problematic. Here's the thing. When it comes to gangster films...
You're going to rephrase something because it sounded a bit problematic?
I know, it's weird, right?
Doesn't sound like you.
It doesn't sound like me. I think what it is, this movie, The Night Comes For Us, feels very much like a ordinary, run-of-the-mill, modern David Ayer type gangster film.
Wow.
It has David Ayer vibes to it.
How dare you, sir?
And what I mean by that is it's just...
David Ayer has directed... I think he directed End of Watch.
Yes, he did End of Watch.
But
He's
more importantly, he directed the 2016 Suicide Squad, which I don't think I've mentioned this on the podcast, is my least favorite movie I've ever seen.
No, and that's weird because that's same for me. Like legit movies that I think might be the worst thing I've ever seen. I really think Suicide Squad
because it's not a movie. It's like
it's a weird
6
music video.
separate music videos with gray ass CGI,
which is not at all what's happening in this movie. What I mean by David Ayer is it's kind of like with his movies, especially ones that he did before Suicide Squad, because he's from like East LA. He does like a lot of gritty gang films, which is fine. Like that's a whole genre within its own. But I find that from him, it's a little, it's toxic masculinity abounds. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, it's gritty, it's violent. Oh, I'm a man with a man's duties. And just, it's duty. Yeah, I don't know. The story of this just didn't engage me. It did not engage me. But the fighting was great. Really well choreographed. There were quite a few moments where I just went, oh my God, that is crazy good effect. Or looks like that just unbelievably hurts. So, good, props to the fighting, but I was not engaged emotionally by this movie. I'm sad to say.
Alexis.
I feel like I'm kind of with Mick on some things. So I also, me, I don't seek out violent movies. I get the heebie-jeebies.
It's gratuitous.
From too many squishy, squelching, bone cracking noises. I'm just like
bone cracking.
I'm the bone doctor. Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah. Strangely enough, there was a point like halfway through the movie where I did tear up, and I was like, genuinely, like, it came as a shock to me because I also felt like, oh, I definitely see where this movie's going. It's just, it kind of reminded me of like, all those movies with like Liam Neeson, like Taken, where like there's just like this man on a mission, and like I could honestly
He's a man.
Yeah, I'm like, I could give less of a shit about most of those movies. I do not seek them out. And also, I like, honestly, if we had not been covering this movie, I would have turned it off like probably a third of the way through, because I'm like, there's just too much blood. There's too much gore, too much shit going on. I cannot take this anymore.
This is one of the bloodiest action movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
This is one of the bloodiest action movies I have ever seen.
Really gory.
Yeah, I was going to say this is the most graphic movie we have ever covered on this podcast. And, I will give it this. I even thought this throughout the movie was, wow, they are very... they're getting very creative with the moves, with the gore, like the part where like she kind of remind me of like from Kill Bill, the girl with the the ball, and she's in the schoolgirl outfit, the thing on the chain.
Oh yeah, the kind of main enforcer in the Crazy 88.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when she fucking wraps that shit around the guy's wrist and basically just tears off all the skin on his wrist, I was like, oh my God. Like, I was having like some very like visceral reactions to some of the gore. I was just like, I feel fragile now. But
you said you teared up.
Yeah, what was the moment you teared up?
I don't know. You know, I think it was kind of like the whole. I mean, like, I don't know if I necessarily felt emotionally connected to the fact that all these guys were just like giving their lives for this little girl, because like for sure I'm just a person that's like, okay, little girl, I would have dipped, but whatever, you know, not me, but you know, live your life. It was the part.
Hot takes. Get your hot takes here. Hey, just me. I would have abandoned that girl, but hey, you know, whatever.
But
We can all see where I land on that. But so it was the part where like Ito came back to the little girl after his friends had been like murdered, and he was saying like, I think he asked her something about like, oh, what did Fatih? I think it's Fatih. What did he say? And he said like,
Yeah.
like live, like don't regret. Like I have no regrets. Like don't live a life with regrets. I don't know why. All of a sudden, I just started fucking crying, and I was just like, why the fuck was that so touching?
That's crazy, because I don't know why. Because I
found that kind of touching too.
Really,
Yeah.
I rolled my eyes at that line. I did. I was like, "Oh, please!" It was like it's like something out of a Hallmark card.
I think the thing that got me was. Yeah, you know that Hallmark card where someone gets a bottle jammed into their mouth?
No,
and
I'm saying that message.
No, I know what you're saying.
It's just like, I mean, that's just like, it's like from a Rolodex of lines
for
to
me,
throw into an action film.
I think it's less the line and more, I bought Joe Taslim's reaction to that a lot.
I bought Joe Taslim's reaction, but I think I also bought the friend. I don't know. He seemed to me like this was your homie. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it seemed like real, you know, because this movie definitely was missing a lot of the real emotion that I look for in most movies. But in that one moment where with the little girl, I don't know what it was. Like that moment felt real to me. Don't know. And it's definitely not a Hallmark card. I've read a lot of those, believe me.
I don't know.
So,
it's just such a cheesy line.
For me,
why is it cheesy? He's literally giving his life, you know, and he's just saying like, don't fucking feel guilty about this. I came through for my boy.
What's the exact line again?
I don't know.
I don't remember the exact line.
It's something like, it's like live your life without regret or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's like something you'd see at like a store, the live, laugh, love.
That would be so funny if that was the last thing he said.
It's like he hands her this little like wooden block that says live their life.
Oh my God, wait. That would be me though. If I was like, fuck, I gotta go down. Wait, can you send them with a message?
Yeah. No,
Alexis,
Alexis, if I found out that you died in a bloody massacre and I was like, oh my God, what did she say?
What were her last words?
Live, laugh, love. I'd be like,
yeah,
it's how like, she wanted to go.
I feel like what he says to her of like live your life without regret or whatever the line is.
Live, laugh, love.
It's like, okay, I'm dying. There's a kid here. I should say something.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I think that I don't know. I like him taking care of her like emotionally as well as physically.
When life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
I'd like to say what I thought about this movie. Go for it. Since I picked it.
Go ahead. Thank you, Zach. Please go on.
So I think I skew maybe a little more positive than you guys. I also didn't love this movie. I think that for me, I tend to agree that generally I wasn't super impressed with the character dynamics, how those were fleshed out. I thought that the performances across the board were all good and made up for a lot, particularly Arian and Ito's relationship. I felt like I would have liked to have gotten more from that because that's kind of a big part of the spine of the movie. And I like those two actors so much that like I want to feel more when they're finally facing off towards the end.
Yeah.
Some stuff that I really enjoyed in this movie. This felt very kind of comic booky, because I believe originally Timo Tjahjanto adapted this to a graphic novel before he made it into a movie. I don't know if it was published, but I do get that very comic booky feel, and like I see where you're coming from, Mick, a little bit with the David Ayer thing in terms of just like the, kind of machismo and, masculine energy off of this. But I think this, to me, at its best, reminded me more of like John Wick. You're making such a sinister face.
Because I just read the message, a 7-hour goon sesh with Paul Giamatti.
Don't ever look at the things I send you when we're on the air, Mick. Don't ever do that. That's going to derail us.
Oh man, that's disgusting.
But like, this felt like a very sort of heightened comic booky world that had a lot of angles to it that I, had more questions about, and I really like that. I love a goon with a thing.
I love a good goon sesh
with Paul Giamatti. Like, that's like a whack off session.
Yeah, so when you're gooning, it's like you're edging. So when Zach and I get really excited for goons.
But like, I like the butcher enforcer. Like, that's so silly and so heightened, and I love that.
I agree with that. That was a fun sequence.
Or like, the character of the operator. I love that she just like shows up. We don't really know who hired her. Yeah. But she just kind of comes out of nowhere, has this incredibly cool entrance with her fucking motorcycle helmet, wipes out the 2 female goons, and then dips. So I don't know. I really enjoyed the world of this movie, and I also really enjoyed the camera work in the fight sequences. I like when it feels like the camera is responding to every little move. I think
like when someone somersaults, it's like the camera almost somersaults a little bit. Yeah,
like even like, there's a bit where Ito breaks a guy's arm Ito breaks a guy's arm in the police van, and the camera kind of twitches along with the arm break. It's something that in non-action scenes, David Fincher does really well. Like, his camera is always responding to even the smallest little movements from characters in a way that's almost imperceptible. And this is, more pronounced, but I really like that. And I feel like it draws me in more, and I don't know, I found it very exciting.
Nice.
So that's some stuff that I enjoyed about this film.
Interesting. Okay.
I also, little detail that I liked quite a bit in this movie is how climate change plays like a small part in the story of this movie.
I noticed that too.
Because the kind of slums that Ito and Arian come from, they're trying to get out because they are being swallowed by the ocean, which is something that's really happening in Indonesia.
Yeah, they're building a new city.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Yeah, it's one of the countries that's, being most affected by climate change immediately. And I don't know that I've really seen climate change play, a role in the texture of a movie like this that isn't, explicitly about climate change in that way. So I thought that was interesting as well. And those are some thoughts from me.
I just don't know who this movie's for. Because
like gory action.
Well, what I was going to say, I really like what Alexa said. If like this is very much like a Liam Neeson movie with like Taken or The Equalizer. Mm-hmm. We all know those are dad films. And The Night Comes for Us is very much a dad movie. Because think about it. Think of the story. Think of the world. It's about rescuing this little girl. You got some fatherly love going on. This is a dad movie.
It's
but
about
it's
a
so
man standing his
hyper-violent.
ground, which is why it's a dad movie. It's
Yes,
about
no, exactly.
about redemption
1000%.
and a man standing
Yeah.
his ground, which
It's
is
about
why it's
a
a dad
man-
movie.
It's about a man who is at their end. They're at their wits' end, so they've decided that they're going to take justice into their own hands, and they're just going to kill everybody. That is a dad movie.
You know why? Because old men think they have it so fucking bad, and they're like, "Yeah, man, this guy knows what's up. He's fucking he's making it
so
through
many-
just like me, man."
There's so many dads. There are so many dads that just want to like kick the shit out of everybody, but they can't. And so we have movies like Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk. That's a dad
I was
movie.
literally about to say Nobody is perhaps the dad movie. Dad, if you're listening, watch Nobody. You're gonna fucking love it. My dad, Loki, off the air, I've got to tell you this story. He had a dad, I've got to stand my ground
for real.
moment this week, and it genuinely was a moment where you should be standing your ground. But I was just like, man, it's that's like
gang
bad.
come into his Chinese restaurant.
He had to defend his alcohol restaurant.
Snap zoom.
But man,
but my point, but also it's like ultra violent. So it's also for like, you'd think it's kind of targeting like the teen age, the teen boys that love those ultra violent things. So it's kind of like, I don't know who this movie's for. It's for
Quentin Tarantino.
I guess so. 40, 50-year-old men.
Hey guys, I just gotta say, The Night Comes for Us. I freaking love this movie. I thought it was so groovy. The moment where the guy got stabbed in the mouth with the bottle, I thought that was really groovy. In the final
leave
fight,
right now, I will send you 10 photos of my feet.
Oh wow,
guys, I gotta go.
You can't ignore that. Bye, Quentin.
Sorry, Quentin's gonna go goon.
Okay, I get it.
There he is. There he is.
I've seen like 5 Saw movies. The first 5 Saw movies. Seen them all. Okay. This movie.
I saw Saw movies.
Actually, maybe more gory than a Saw movie. I genuinely like. There's not that many deaths in a Saw movie. There's quite a lot, and they are awful. But the amount of deaths in this movie is crazy. Like, I love the trope, though, of like one man having the strength of 100 because it is so perfectly like manga comic book-esque, So I do love this whole like, oh, he's invincible. But also, White Boy Bobby.
That's with any fight movie.
White Boy Bobby. Love him. Love him.
Yeah, he's great.
I fucking loved White Boy Bobby.
I feel like I've known someone that looks just like that in my life. We've all known a White Boy Bobby.
100%.
Yeah. White
The
Boy
friend that
Bobby's
gets
good
you
people,
into
though.
like massive trouble, and then they're like, "Man, I just thought I was helping out."
Yeah, he is the Tyler McCoy of the triad.
Oh, don't
They
invoke
weren't in the triad. They
Do not
weren't in the
invoke
triad.
it.
It was literally his fault
Yeah,
that
they
they got
weren't in the
involved with the triad
triad.
at all.
Stop doing that. I'm so sick of you. Just taking this whole thing off the fucking rails.
It's relevant. It's in the movie.
You're just saying the thing that we're saying again. Every time someone says triad, you're just saying, oh, now you don't do it.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
You fucker.
Not going to do it. I really like the moment though where they take it's kind of like a katana and he puts it in the guy's mouth and then slides it over.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
the camera pushes in and his cheeks have just been completely separated.
Yeah.
He's got that big old Joker smile. That was crazy.
Why so
Yeah,
serious?
Yeah, a lot of violence.
Yeah,
what
that's
about
called karambit, I think, is what that's called.
That's the move is called.
No, the knife is called a karambit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Correction corner. I love it. A live correction corner.
That's what we do.
I liked the lesbian goons.
We've got to start saying henchmen.
Okay.
Why?
I loved that
No, I
she
did.
like
I like the lesbian goons.
to Fatih's apartment, but she like licked her finger
Licks.
before she left, and I was all,
Oh yeah, she
okay. Feeling a
she
little
licked her
spicy here.
knuckles. She licked
Yeah.
her knuckles. That's what that was. which is also says something even more.
Yeah, the fight scene.
Why you got to lick the whole knuckle?
The fight scene.
Why not?
That happens right after that.
We know what that means.
Jesus Christ.
we know what causes that now.
You're about to see some knuckles up close in a second, buddy. The fight scene in the hallway after that, where the blonde lesbian enforcer comes out of the elevator,
she was great,
and just starts wiping people out, is so scary. I do like that, because of the creative and extreme kills, we do kind of get some slasher movie energy from this movie at points.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really fun.
Dude, at one point, somebody took a knife and put it into the top of someone's forearm and then dragged it all the way down to their wrist. And I was like, slay, Ito slay.
One of my favorite Ito moves is in the butcher shop, which the other thing that I love about the butcher, one is that he is humming as he works. Yeah. He's having fun.
He's a happy boy.
I love a henchman who's having a blast. And I also love that he just has his, you haven't heard about my 7 butchers? It's like, who are these 7 butchers? But when Ito jams the bone into someone's chest, goes crazy.
There's so much. There's so much rampaging happening in this movie.
Maybe that's what appeals to me about this film, and maybe why I was having slightly more fun with it than you guys yesterday is, I had a bit of a difficult few days, and I needed some rampage in my life, and this movie delivered a lot of rampage.
I think for me, I've just been so...
I can just only hear David Shearer's voice saying it's just gratuitous violence. That's all I can hear on repeat in my brain as this movie's playing.
They didn't need to show it.
Maybe it's gratuitous for you, David.
We knew what he was going to do when he had the bone. Why did we need to see it?
Because it rules! Because it's sick as fuck, David.
I think it's, for me, I've been, this job I have right now, very thankful for it, but it makes me very tired. And so when I watched this movie, which is just so at 110%, it's so intense, it's so violent. I think it just made me feel tired watching it, which is why I wasn't maybe that's why I didn't respond to it as strongly. Yeah, it is intense. This is an intense picture.
Oh, absolutely. It is 2 hours of a lot of extremely violent rampaging.
I will say, having said that, I enjoyed the use of explosives in this movie.
Yeah,
you don't get enough grenades.
Yeah, the grenade in the cop car, and then you see all the little chunks fly out behind
all
him.
The little chunkies, or when they put this. Where they put the C4 lining that hallway, and then waits for the goons to go in there, and then they ignite that fucker, and you just see an overhead of all of them just go, and they completely decimated. And then the blonde lesbian and our hero are fighting over the bloody corpses of these guys. It's good stuff.
That is good stuff.
I love
reminds me honestly
the way
of
she died too. The blonde. I'm not going to call her the blonde lesbian. Alma.
What should we call her?
The third Lotus?
Oh, her character name?
Is it Alma the third Lotus?
Let me take a little look at our character. Yes, Alma.
Alma. Yeah. No, love that, because you get this moment where the operator straight up realizes her pinky has been cut through basically. So she snaps it all the way off and just tosses it. And Alma has this moment of ha, bitch, I got you. And then her guts start spilling out. And I was like, yeah, okay, but also kind of legit.
Alexis, I don't seek out violent movies, but when I see them, it awakens something.
Well, okay, I'm a sick little freak. I may not seek this shit out, but once I'm in it, I'm just like, damn, what the fuck?
I'm ready to go, dude. Little costuming note. I really enjoyed Arian's outfit at the end. His Dracula suit, and I was he's wearing a black suit and a red tie.
Right.
He's looking like a Dracula.
Yeah.
I was a little tired and sauced when I watched this movie last night.
Yeah.
I wrote down the note when he gets his tie grabbed onto by Ito. There's a note that just says, "The Dracula tie is not an asset to you." It's a fucking crazy way to phrase that, Zach. I also really enjoyed in that fight when they're fighting on top of the metal pipes. The sound design of that was really fun.
That was good too, because it looks that didn't look choreographed really. That just looked like them struggling to stand on these pipes.
Yeah.
They bought that for sure.
Yeah. Well, do we have anything else about this film?
I guess I just thought it was a bit predictable, when the friend shoots Arian, quote unquote. We don't see it, and immediately well, every death in this movie we have seen so far, and the fact that we haven't seen his means he's not dead.
Because this film's gratuitous.
And then we go and it's like, oh, aha, he didn't shoot him. It's just okay, we knew that.
I didn't know that, actually, because when they did that, I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. He seems like a key character. Why would they do? I was having this moment of why would they do that? Is this movie going to get worse? And then I was like, oh, of course he didn't fucking kill him. I'm dumb. So, I mean, right. It technically came to me as a surprise. And so maybe, not everybody is as intelligent and forward thinking as you are, Mick.
Yeah, Mick.
I knew that.
God, you're such a piece of shit.
But when Alma's intestines flew out, I was I also kind of expected that too, because there was a long pause on her, and I'm like, oh well, she's gonna die, and then she coughs up blood, and the camera pans down. It's yeah, I don't know. A lot of this movie I saw coming. The one part I didn't see coming was the very beginning, which I actually really liked, which is where our hero is pointing the gun at the girl, and then it cuts away, and you hear the machine gun sound. And I was because I thought, oh, he's going to have a change of heart. He's going to rescue her. Cuts to the machine gun sound, and go, oh, fuck. Okay, this is our baddie. This is our main villain. And then she's alive. I was oh, what a pleasant twist. Okay, so he shot the other goons.
Machine gun a child.
Yeah, we didn't do that. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think two other, gripes I take with this movie are, I guess, the central relationship with Raina, the kid, as well. She is basically a MacGuffin, and, I feel like she should be more of a character. Because, obviously we don't want to see a child get, sliced to bits by all of these Indonesian goons. But
yeah, Alexis, that's why you save her.
Oh, okay.
That's why you rescue the girl.
Okay, I'm sorry. How do I know she's going to make anything of her life? Fuck that bitch. I'm just kidding.
Wow. Hot takes. Get your hot takes here.
Just kidding, guys. I love the part where she took it into her own hands and just slice the dude in the face. I was like, yeah, go girl.
Yeah,
bring
that was
something
fun.
to the
Seeing
table
a
finally.
Little girl shiv a guy. I was that must have been fun for her, a little actress.
Listen, I'd be there. I'd save that girl. I'd stand my goddamn ground. I'd make a stand because I'm a man who's had enough.
Exactly.
No.
But the one other thing about this movie, because I do love the opening sequence on the beach. One thing I don't love is when a movie opens with a ton of text.
Really?
Yeah.
So not a big Star Wars guy, are you?
No. But I don't know. The Star Wars opening crawl is exciting and has fun music and it scrolls around.
This one just opens with
two different black screens explaining what the triad is. And I don't know that we needed that. I think we could have figured it out.
Go on.
You look so fucking pleased with it.
They talked about that organization multiple times.
What organization?
So, yeah, I don't think we needed the text at the beginning talking about that specific organization or anything. So,
yeah. Also, I feel like the inner workings of the triad are not particularly important to the actual like function of this story.
Yeah.
You know, like we basically just need to know that the triad is like a criminal organization that's coming up against our main character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I think about the triad.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, I mean, technically when Bobby talks about like, you know, like smack and coke are like things that we need to get into because they have like a crazy markup. And then they say like, like you can't do that. Like you literally just you got us involved with the triad. It's like that answered all of the questions that they put at the very beginning where it's like, oh, okay, that's connected. So.
Yeah. Triad.
There it is.
I just wanted to do
It's
it
like
once.
Mick has a loaded gun right now. Will he shoot it? Will
we're all,
he
like,
throw the trigger?
Throwing chum in the water,
Yeah.
seeing if the shark's gonna pop up. Well, I think that's probably a fine place to wrap up.
That's a fine place to wrap it.
The night comes for us. If you want to watch a, energetic, violent action movie that would appeal to a dad if it weren't so fucking bloody, you can check it out on Netflix. And with that, we have one more film left in Asian Cinema Month.
Wow, it's going quick. I've really enjoyed this month so far.
Yeah, I think this has been
too.
fun. And, for our last movie, we're going to head back over to Korea. And we're going to wrap up with a 2016 horror thriller called The Wailing. And you can find The Wailing on Pluto TV, Tubi, Peacock, Amazon Prime. It's on a whole bunch of things, which is great because when I put this on my horror movie list the first year I did it, it was not, I had to rent it.
Is it not on Netflix anymore?
No, it's not on Netflix anymore.
This is a very good movie.
Yes, it's directed by Na Hong Jin, and it is starring Kwek Do Wan and Hwang Jun Min. And I'm going to go ahead and consult Sang before our next episode and do a little name rundown to see how I'm going to do on this.
What?
Had we all seen Old Boy before we did Old Boy?
Mick hadn't.
No, I had.
Oh, you had?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. It had just been a long time.
It had been a long time.
I love that we're bookending with like Korean movies that all of us have seen. You know?
Hell
we begin
yeah.
and end with Korean movies that all of us have seen because, Korea, top notch. Aha.
Film majors tested and approved.
That's right.
So that's where you can find The Wailing. And if you want to find us, the Film Majors, on social media, you can find us at Film Majors Pod on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. And if you want to, the reason that I like to mention the next movie that we're talking about is so that, people can get a chance to watch the movies. So, go watch The Wailing, and also send us your thoughts on the movies if you have been watching along. And you can.
I'm hoping that some of our listeners will actually watch the film before our episode comes out so that they can agree or disagree with whatever it is we have to share.
Yeah, I like to think of this as kind of
active participant.
Yeah, kind of a little film book club.
Yeah.
All right. Well, send us your thoughts at filmmajorspod@gmail.com.
Yeah, I like that we're getting a spooky season. We're pulling the trigger. We're pulling the trigger.
Have we noticed how we've done this 2 years in a row now?
No.
Our last movie in September was a horror movie both times.
That's good stuff.
All right. Well, go check that out.
Yeah, check it out, folks. And this episode was brought to you by The Film Majors. You're listening to The Film Majors. We'll see you next week on The Film Majors.
A gabagool.